Welcome back to another live stream. Hi, how is everyone doing? Before we go on, just want to make sure that everything is okay. The audio stream is fine. You can hear this microphone working. There's no distortion or any other audio problems like echo, or if this video feed is fine. You know what? Funny story. Last week, I thought everything was okay. But if you check last week's live stream, it was actually in 720p. My goodness. You know, I've been streaming on 4K for more than a year, and I'm actually very proud to be streaming on full 4K resolution because I want to show off my photographs, and sometimes I want to zoom in to show you the details. For example, macro shots, right? Beautiful, sharp, fine details. That's why I want 4K stream. And I'm one of the few photographer YouTubers that actually do 4K live streams, and I'm very proud of this. And last week I actually screwed up. It was in it's not even in full HD, it was in 720. My goodness. And the reason that happened was because the few days before that, I was live streaming on Rob Track's channel. I was a guest on Rob Track's the Micro Four Thirds gathering. And there was no reason for me to stream 4K, right? I was a guest. Rob Track didn't even stream in 4K. It was in Full HD. And I was just appearing on a tiny screen. So I thought Full HD would be fine. And after that, of course, I switched back the settings, but I did not change all the settings, right? So this time, I made sure that I check. And I'm quite sure this is in 4K. So let's see if there's any feedback already. Some people already get feedback. Audio and video okay. Thank you so much. Let me drink some coffee and I get to the comments. Beautiful coffee. Coffee is live. All right, let's get to the chat. We have quite a few members. I will always reply to members first, and that's the perk of being a member. If you're a member, your name is highlighted in green, and there's a star badge next to your name. But I will respond to every single chat. So don't worry, just be a little bit patient with me. I'll go to every single chat, all right? Let's get to the members chat first. Dan the Guitar Man says, good morning, Robin. Good morning to you too. From rainy California today. Let's do this. Yes, let's do this. Nice to see you here, Dan. Squadat says, good morning from Orlando, Florida. Hey, Squadat, how are you? Squadat says, my favorite lens is the 15 f1.7 Panasonic. All right. Gregory says, hi Robin and everyone from Katy, Texas, USA. Audio and video okay. Hey Gregory, nice to see you again, and thank you so much for the update. Skoda says, looks and sounds great. Thank you so much, appreciate that. Dan the Guitar Man says, sad that my first camera M1 Mark 1 no longer turns on or no longer works. Repair places in US quote more to fix it than getting another used one, so fixing doesn't make sense. Yeah, just get another used one in the market. I'm sure you can find another one. Not a problem. Here in Malaysia, we can find easily one for a new, not new, in a used market, a good condition one would probably go for like $200 US or less. Yep. Skula says coffee in 4K. Masha says, good morning from Boynton Beach, Florida. Hey Masha, how are you? Good to see you here. Yumi says, good evening, Robin. Hope you are doing well. Hey Yumi, very, very happy to see you again. I'm doing all right. I'll, of course, give you guys some updates on what's happening in my life. Suya says, what's your favorite Micro Four Thirds lenses? Guess what? I made a video about it. Let me find a video. Robin Wong, favorite lenses. Search. First one that came out. Let me share the link. All right. So my favorite Micro Four Thirds lenses. So Surya, go to this video. There you go. I hope that answers your question, Surya. Well, in short, that's the Panasonic 15 f1.7, Olympus 25 f1.8, Olympus 45 f1.8, Olympus 75 f1.8, and if I remember correctly, 12 to 40 f2.8 Pro. Yeah, there you go. Okay, let me just close this down. All right. Watch says, hi Robin, great to see you. Part of me doesn't want phone cameras to keep improving. I'm afraid they'll kill non-professional camera market. Are you sure it's a phone camera we're talking about? Watch. Tomato says, good evening, Robin and all. Hey, Tomato, how are you? Asru says, howdy, Robin. Hey, Asru, how are you? What have you bought at any Pasar Ramadan, or how are you looking forward to that you usually don't have? I have not been to the Ramadan Bazaar yet. Well, main reason is usually I try to get home before dark, around 6 o'clock. So I'll be out almost for the entire day, whether it's for shoots or jobs or meetings with clients, or if I don't have any jobs or shoots, like most days, I'll go to the gym, and then after that, I'll do my video. I'll try to film everything. As you can see, most of my videos, the one on the main channel, the long form videos, or even the shorts, they are done in the daytime. So film everything in the daytime, then I come home, have my dinner, and then I'll start editing until late. That's my usual workflow, right? Yeah, so I haven't been to the Ramadan Bazaar, but if I were to go there, I don't know, I'll probably just buy everything and just eat everything until I'm fat. Not a very good idea. Kimochi says, what's up, guys? Hey, Kimochi, how are you? Nice to see you here. Vapagamoka says, good evening, Robin. Good evening to you too, Vapagamoka. Jari says, audio and video okay. Thank you so much. Light Hunter says, Xiaomi is saving Micro Four Thirds. Hopefully they are. Sixtus Batmaster says, audio is okay. Watching in 1080p is okay. No worries. But the problem was that last week, the stream was not even 1080p. It was 720. My goodness. Like, I could not believe that happened. I thought I checked everything. So I just had to be a little bit more diligent, right? So, yeah. Marvel C. Jupiter says, whatever Lumix releases, there is a backlash. S9 last year, S1R Mark II this year. Okay, but we are not talking about Lumix, right? What's wrong with Lumix? What backlash is it? I don't understand. M. Dino says, good morning from Taiwan. Good morning to you too, M. Dino. How are you? Pete says, good afternoon from UK. Robin, great to see you. Hey, Pete, nice to see you here. And yeah, I'm glad to be seen. Jerry says, hi from Finland, 8 degrees Celsius today. That sounds very nice. In context, for context, my room is 28 degrees Celsius, plus 20 in my room. Wow, that's very, very nice. Pete says 45 f1.8. Of course, 45 f1.8 is my favorite. Roger says, hi Robin, thanks for sharing your feedback on other Micro Four Thirds blogs. No worries. I always share whatever I can, right? Kimochi says, I remember I once saw Mahathir at Putrajaya's Bazaar a few years ago. Of course, Mahathir is out and about when he was younger, but now he's at his old age already, right? So I don't think we'll be seeing him roaming around freely anymore. Terry says, hi Robin from the UK where spring has sprung at last. It is spring already. It is March, right? Yeah, it's spring already. My goodness, time flies. Jeff says, good morning from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, US. Hey Jeff, how are you? Nice to see you. All right, I've caught up with the chat. Now, let's have some updates, but let's drink some coffee first. Yeah, coffee. Okay. Last Monday, I released a new video as usual. And it was this. It was about the Olympus 75 f1.8, which is one of my favorite lenses. I simply love the 75 f1.8, especially when I'm doing portraits. Not just for portraits, but most of the time I use this for my jobs where I shoot stage events or weddings, live coverage, right? When I'm shooting things that's happening on stage where I can't just jump on the stage with my 45 or other lenses. I need a telephoto lens. But for this particular session, I brought this 75 f1.8 back home to Kuching, Borneo during my Chinese New Year holidays last month. And I had an arranged model shoot session which was coordinated by my friends Nunong and Kieran. Shout out to Nunong and Kieran for making this happen. And also credit to the amazingly beautiful Melanie, the model, who modeled for us, of course. And I shot the entire session with the 75 f1.8. And the camera I used for this was the Panasonic GX7, which is this camera here. I will talk about the Panasonic GX7 on a separate video. I think this camera, it deserves a video on its own. And I know a lot of people have been saying, Robin, you must buy the GX7. Robin, you must try the GX7. Robin, the GX7 is like the best ever camera for street photography. Robin, why haven't you tried the GX7? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. I have the GX7 now, and I'm making a video to talk about my experience using the GX7. That will come soon. But for last Monday's video, it was specifically on the Olympus 75 f1.8, which I think is a fantastic lens for shooting portraits. It gives you very tight, compressed background. You have less background to deal with. It gives very flattering human proportions, especially if you shoot full body shots. The limbs appear proportionate. The head doesn't look too big. The nose doesn't look too big. Everything looks just beautiful, flattering human proportions, right? Also, the lens renders beautiful bokeh, nice background blur. The lens is super, super sharp. I think overall, the look, the rendering for the lens is just beautiful. I love what this Olympus 75 f1.8 can do for portraits. So, plenty of photographs of Melanie, the beautiful model, in that particular video. Please check it out if you have not done so. I have actually received a lens. This is not my lens, but I got it from Futuromic. Futuromic is the official distributor in Malaysia for several brands. They are the distributor for Nikon. They're also distributor for Samyang, Tamron, SanDisk, and a few other brands, big brands, right? But I got this lens. This is the Tamron 90 f2.8 macro from Futuromic. Just for me to play. I don't really have to deliver anything. Nothing is agreed. They just, hey Robin, we have this Tamron 90 macro lens. We know that you love shooting macro. Would you like to try the lens? I said, sure, why not? So I got this lens. I have just started shooting with this lens today on my own Nikon Z5. It's quite a large lens. I realize it's quite heavy. I'm not used to heavy macro lenses. I'm used to this tiny Olympus 60 f2.8 macro, which is so small and so light. And this lens is a little bit larger and a little bit heavier for my liking. But anyways, it's a free loan. Why not? I get to try the lens for free, right? So I went out to shoot some inside macro. I have not done testing the lens. I will share more photographs next week. I have some photographs. Today's session was more like just go out, have a feel of what the lens can do, what I need to be aware of. But surprise, surprise, the lens is sharp, autofocus is amazing, rendering is beautiful. I got some really cool inside macro shots with this Nikon Z5, shooting with this Tamron 90 f2.8 macro. But I don't really have fantastic shots yet. It was just a 3-hour session out in the park nearby my place. If I want more exotic insects and bugs, I need to go to the butterfly park or to a hiking trail, which is further away from where I stay. That will happen maybe tomorrow if the weather permits. It has been raining a bit lately, so I'm quite worried about what I can do outside for my whatever that I'm doing, right, for my video of my shooting. But I probably won't be making a video for this Tamron lens. I'll just be shooting some sample images, maybe update my blog, sharing my experience using this lens, and yeah, and share plenty of new photographs, right? And those photographs I'll share next week. So if you want to find out what this Tamron 90 millimeters f2.8 macro lens can do, this is the new one, right? This is the Mark III. Yeah, please tune in for my live stream next week. Also, in conjunction with this macro shooting, I have actually assembled for the first time the AK macro diffuser. This was sent to me all the way from the US by Emily Taupin. So Emily, thank you so much. Sorry it took me all this time to assemble this and finally put it to good use. Emily, if you guys don't know, is an OM ambassador. She's a fantastic macro photographer, fantastic person and YouTuber. So yeah, and the reason why she sent this and a few other stuff was because she came into my live streams, one of my live streams a few months ago, and I asked everyone to go to her channel to subscribe because I noticed that she almost hit 10,000 subscribers. I think she was about 100 subscribers shy. So I asked, hey everyone, just go and subscribe to Emily's channel if you have not done so. And on the spot, she surpassed and hit 10,000 subscribers. So she was so happy, and we of course chatted offline after my live stream, and she said she must send me a thank you package, which included this AK diffuser, some amazing food from US, and she sent me a book as well. And I remember there were a few other stuff, a fridge magnet. It was quite a large care package. I actually unboxed that package also a few months ago after I received it, right? I did a live unboxing. So this AK diffuser, the flash diffuser that Emily is using for her macro shots, I had it with me all this time. I've never used it because I have my own macro shooting technique, and I have reasons why for not using this diffuser, but I'll explain more next week when I talk about this Tamron lens, how I shoot my macro shots, and how I use this diffuser to get my shots, and why I'm using this diffuser now, all right? And why I'm not using this diffuser for my Olympus macro shots. So yeah, that will come next week because I need to get more photographs first. No photographs, no talk, right? But hey, once again, shout out to Emily Taupin. Thank you so much, Emily. You are a lifesaver, and this diffuser, yeah, when it works, it does fantastic images, and I love the results come out from this diffuser. All right, yeah, that's what I'm working on, the current project. I have 2 more things that I'm working on, but I can't talk about them yet. Not 2, 3. 3 things. One will be a video that will be published on Monday, this coming Monday. It's a sponsored video, so I can't wait to talk about it. But before it's being published, so I can't say anything. So it's already done. The client has approved everything, so that video will come out on Monday. And I'll of course talk more about it on next week's live stream. Expand on what I talk about on Monday. So I can't wait to share that with you guys. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Nothing much more on the updates on my side in terms of local photography events. Things have been a little bit quieter, mainly because it's the fasting month. Malaysia is a Muslim country. Majority of the people here in Malaysia, they practice the Islam religion. So being a dominantly Muslim country, we respect the fasting month, so we try to keep things quieter, so there's less activities happening around, especially when it comes to the photography community as well. Okay, I think it's a good time to remind everyone that I have enabled my membership. With just the price of a cup of coffee, you can support me, and you get some really cool perks in return. You get early access to all my new videos. You get to see my videos 24 hours before everyone else. We have members-only private live streams happening once every month, where you can come into these live streams and ask me questions more directly. We have more intimate chats. And if you have a comment on my new or old videos, I will definitely prioritize my replies to your comments first before non-members. Same here, if you have chats, if you leave a chat in this live stream, I will definitely reply to you first before the non-members. I also have taken down some older videos that were not performing well. These videos, I do not want them to affect the algorithm. I want YouTube to continue to push my new videos to a wider audience. So the videos that were not performing well, they include tips and tricks on composition, black and white photography, how to get sharp images shooting macro, a lot of street photography tips, a lot of POV street photography outings as well. If you want to see how I compose my shots in real time, how I get my shots, what happens around me and in front of me, and how I frame my shots before I click the shutter button, yeah, do subscribe, join as a member, and you have access to all these videos. All right, there are other ways to support me as well. If you don't want to join as a member, you can buy me a cup of coffee using this link up here. You can also contribute directly to my PayPal. You can buy from my affiliate links from B&H and Adorama, as well as Amazon. Yes, I keep forgetting Amazon because we don't really have Amazon in Malaysia. But if you buy from Amazon wherever you are, I do earn 2% commission for whatever that you buy. Right? Any contribution will go a long way to help me to continue making more videos, share more tips and tricks. If you haven't realized, I've been making a lot more shorts lately. In the past 2 weeks, I've been sharing 2 or 3 shorts talking about the magic OK button on the Olympus camera, shortcut on how to disable the EVF LCD switch, as well as the white balance, auto white balance fine tuning, the amber and green setting, all the hidden settings in the camera. I share quick tips and tricks on the shorts. So if you appreciate this, please consider supporting me. Any small contribution will go a long way. And yes, I want to share as much as I can with you guys. Okay, let me drink more coffee and I'll get back to the chat and then we'll start talking about the topic for today, which is a very interesting topic. All right. Kimochi says, any thoughts on the Sigma BF camera? I will share my thoughts when I see it in person. I think it's not too different from Sigma FP, which is not a new thing. It's more like a redesigned Sigma FP, right? Updated FP. It still uses the same image sensor anyway. So the concept is nice, but its concept is not entirely new. You get what I mean? Yeah. Then the Getaman says, the new Xiaomi Micro Four Thirds is interesting, but I hope they come up with an add-on for iPhone eventually. It would be cool to have Micro Four Thirds for my iPhone for travel. That's one of the problems we'll talk about very, very soon. Wow, that's a long name. Shao Kahn says, welcome from Sicily, Italy. Hello, how are you? Proxy says, Robin, what is this about Xiaomi and Micro Four Thirds? Xiaomi is making Micro Four Thirds camera. Haven't you heard? Jeff says, you should start an archive video channel so the algorithm doesn't force down your fantastic older content. Yes, I have already taken down those older videos that are not performing well. No reason to start another channel because if it doesn't perform well here, if I put it on another channel, it won't perform well anywhere else. Get what I mean? But I want other people to see these videos as well. So if you want to see them, then join as a member. As simple as that. Okay, let's start talking about the topic, which is very, very, very interesting. A few days ago, Xiaomi launched the Mi 15, right? Xiaomi 15 series, which is the latest smartphones. But together with that launch, they also announced an in-development modular lens camera system, which they are developing now, which will be available, they say, soonish. We don't know where it's going to be sold or launched or released, but something is definitely coming from Xiaomi. So this is Xiaomi Modular Optical System. And the cool thing about this is that it uses a Micro Four Thirds image sensor inside it. Now, this is not entirely a new thing, of course. Those of you who have been with Olympus, Sony in the camera system, you already know that there's something very similar before. We have this Olympus Air, all right? I'm just gonna try to find a lens to attach. Let's just attach a 75 on it. So this is a modular system, Olympus Air. I've made a video to talk about this. It's technically a camera, just a camera that you need. It doesn't have an LCD screen, but it's modular, so you can attach a lens on it. So I just rip off the lens, which is the 75 f1.7 to attach on it. So it's a Micro Four Thirds mount. It has a Micro Four Thirds image sensor in it. If you can see the sensor, let's just put it on the light. Yep. So I'm just going to mount it. Wait, where's the red dot? Okay, so it's mounted already. All right. Okay, then it can be attached to a smartphone. So this is my phone. All right. So I'm going to attach it to my phone and there you go. So the Olympus Air, how it works is that there is an image sensor built in. It doesn't have a lens. You need to attach a Micro Four Thirds lens, which is not a problem because Olympus makes lenses, and then you can attach Panasonic or any other Micro Four Thirds compatible lenses on this Olympus Air. Now, it doesn't have an LCD screen, which means if you want to compose, you want a viewfinder, you need to connect to your phone by using an app connected to the phone wirelessly through Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connection. Then you can use the phone to control the camera, and the images can be stored inside the Olympus Air on a micro SD card, or you can transfer the images wirelessly to the phone using the Wi-Fi as well as the Bluetooth connection. On the concept, it's brilliant. I think it's fantastic. You have a higher quality camera and lens system. Micro Four Thirds, we know how capable it is. It gives you more resolution, better dynamic range, high ISO compared to the tiny sensor in the smartphone. Even if you have 1 inch, what you can achieve from Micro Four Thirds is definitely much better. It's visibly better than what you can do with a 1 inch image sensor. Plus, in this system, you can change lens, and it just opens up a lot more opportunities, a lot more creative freedom for you to do your photography. But in summary, it also has a lot of problems. The number one problem that a lot of people are complaining, even myself when I was shooting with this Olympus Air, was that the connection keeps dropping off. So meaning that it struggles to have a stable connection with the smartphone. So the Wi-Fi connection 6-7 years back then, it wasn't really that stable. The Bluetooth connection wasn't that strong. So I believe today, if they were to explore this concept again using today's Wi-Fi and Bluetooth technology, using today's faster processor, using today's more advanced operating system on the smartphone, I believe this could have been a lot more efficient, or at least the connectivity would have been stronger and less problematic. But Xiaomi has revisited this concept instead of Olympus or any other camera makers, which is really strange. Before we talk about Xiaomi, let me just put the lens cap, because this is exposed. So let me just cover this. I've also made a video. I'm not going to link it. You can look for it. It's out there somewhere. To talk about the future of photography, or at least my predictions on where the future is heading. And in my prediction, I said very clearly that Micro Four Thirds is the future. And the reason why I said Micro Four Thirds is the future is because in the future, photography or camera, the form of camera, it has to coexist with smartphones. Somehow, smartphones is the future. So in order for the cameras not to die, for the camera and lens system, this will have to coexist with the smartphone. And one way to do that, Olympus already tried to explore, but I don't know why they didn't develop it further, and they didn't even have this available everywhere. Someone sent this to me from the US. This Olympus has already explored, not just Olympus, Sony also has played around with this concept, the modular concept, to sort of pair it or use it in conjunction or connect it with smartphone, right? But this is not very seamless. It has its problems. It has its operating issues. It's not a complete product. It was still experimental. It needs a lot more work before it is used in a sort of like commercial or consumer environment. I would say this is not a finished product. But fast forward now, many years later, you would think that one of these camera companies, Sony or Canon or OM System, would explore this possibility, right? Because let's face it, this is the future. Don't fight it. I know all of us, we want cameras. We want physical cameras, right? I still want physical cameras, but it is undeniable. The number one imaging device today is a smartphone. Everyone has one. Everyone is taking photos every day with a smartphone. I do that. You do that. Everyone does that. That's why camera sales have been dropping. One of the reasons is because smartphones are taking over as number one use imaging device, and the camera in smartphone is already very good. The only way for traditional cameras to survive is to somehow integrate the camera into the smartphone. How you want to do it? I don't know. There are many ways to do it. There are many ways to achieve that. Olympus proposed this. It didn't take off. They didn't explore the idea or concept further. I don't know. But Xiaomi has come up with their own modular system, which we are talking today. And they announced it. Right, they announced it, and there are physical working prototypes, which a lot of other YouTubers, photographers, content creators, they have made videos about this all over the world. There are some big YouTubers talking about this already. So the products are real, right? So it's not just a concept anymore. It's just a matter of time before they actually launch this product. So now we enter the Xiaomi Modular Optical System. Xiaomi basically took this modular concept from Olympus Air or Sony QX series system and made it their own. And they use Micro Four Thirds image sensors, so it's closer to what the Olympus Air was than what Sony was. Now, instead of using wireless communication, which was one of the causes of many problems, Wi-Fi wasn't stable, so when you compose a photograph before you want to take a photograph, the screen froze and you can't take a photograph, right? Or you transfer images, the transfer wasn't seamless. There's a lot of problems. The transfer was slow and everything. So to solve all this problem, they decided not to go wireless. Instead, they have the magnetic pin, which serves for two purposes. The magnetic pin can actually mount the camera on the smartphone. So that camera and lens module will be securely locked and mounted on the camera with magnetic pin. And the pin itself serves as a communication between the camera and the smartphone. So with electronic contacts, the transfer of images is instant. The communication between the device and the smartphone is also instantaneous. Everything works more efficiently because there's a direct electronic contact, right? Instead of using cables, a lot of people propose, why don't we just use cables? Cables is cumbersome. So this is actually a very effective way for the camera module to communicate directly with the smartphone. This solves a lot of problems. This solves the lagging problem. This solves the software not responding, the Wi-Fi connectivity not being stable. All that can be thrown away. Now, while this solves the problem, I can see how this can become very attractive, right? Because it opens up a lot more opportunities. Right now, you have a capable micro four thirds sensor. Mind you, Xiaomi claims they are using a 100 megapixels micro four thirds sensor. 100 megapixels. OM system, Panasonic, what the hell are you guys doing? Xiaomi is going to launch this soon. I don't know when this is coming out. 6 months, 1 year. I think the most we have to wait is 1 year from now. This will be launched. And they are going to have a 100 megapixels micro four thirds image sensor. And we are stuck with what? 20 megapixels with OM system and 25 megapixels with Panasonic. Anyways, image sensor aside, we don't know whether it's real 100 megapixels or is it a quad bare sensor or whatever with pixel binning. I don't know. So after the pixel binning is maybe an effective 25 megapixels. That makes more sense. It's more like the Panasonic's current 25 megapixel sensor. I don't know. We just have to wait for the official announcement. We don't have this product launched yet. But Xiaomi is claiming 100 megapixels image sensor. And it's not too far-fetched, right? Because we do have hundreds of megapixels of image sensor in smartphones already. So that aside, it looks promising. They have the 35 f1.4 lens, which is so tiny. This is what makes micro four thirds great. You have a true full-size lens with large aperture, f1.4. You can create blurry bokeh. You can get fantastic results, sharp images, all attached, all in one module. Camera and lens all together. Securely mounted on the phone with strong magnetic connection. And it has electronic contacts for fast, efficient data transfer and communication between device and smartphone. On paper, it seems like it works fantastic. And if you look at the tests done by a lot of YouTubers already making content covering this device, right? So these prototypes have been around all over trade shows, and even Xiaomi has hand-delivered this to some very popular influencers out there. And based on what they are showing on the video, like when they take photographs, there's no lag, the control is instantaneous, the transfer of images is like after you take the photograph, the image transfers immediately to the smartphone. It's like everything is seamless. So everything works very, very, very well. Now here's the drawback. This is a micro four thirds camera. Xiaomi is not hiding the fact. It's true, they're using micro four thirds image sensor, which means the lens has to be micro four thirds compatible as well, right? Or compliant. But the problem is, micro four thirds format has always been an open format, meaning that if you have a micro four thirds camera like this Olympus Air or Lumix GS7 or Olympus camera or OM system camera, you can mount any micro four thirds lens on it, right? As simple as that. But on this Xiaomi's modular system, it doesn't seem like you can mount any other lenses. Let's say you have several Olympus, OM system, and Panasonic lenses. Now, if you're shooting with micro four thirds system, you think you'll be able to use those lenses on this Xiaomi system? No. I think it's pretty much a closed system. I think it's pretty much a Xiaomi camera system. They don't care about micro four thirds really, but they are tapping into the advantages of micro four thirds, but only for their own system. And that proprietary magnetic pin will only work with certain Xiaomi phones. You can't even use this on all Xiaomi phones, maybe only on the flagships. So they're selling this modular camera and lens as an attachment, as an additional accessory, or maybe as a combo or a kit that comes with the flagship camera at a different price variations, right? But it is not an open concept. You can't use this on iPhones, unlike this Olympus Air, although it's inferior in terms of connections, in terms of operations, app stability and everything. It has a lot of issues with Wi-Fi connections. It's not stable and all the other problems, right? But at least you can use this Olympus Air on iPhone or any other smartphones of your choice, any Android or iPhone, right? But you can't use this. This is a Xiaomi product. You can't use this on Samsung phones. You can't use this on any other Android phones. You can't use this on iPhones. So it's pretty much a very limited limited product. I think those restrictions are too, I would say it's a nice concept, don't get me wrong. I can see where this is heading. I can see this is the future. I've already talked about why this is the future. I talked about this like 5 years ago. This is where the future is heading. You have to find a way for cameras or lenses to work with smartphones. But here, I'm just sad to see that Xiaomi is the first one to do it, not OM System, not Panasonic, not Sony, not Canon, not Nikon. I'm sad to see that the camera manufacturers are not taking part in this or not pushing this boundary or envelope. It's sort of disheartening to see that it takes a smartphone company to push this, and they are targeting photographers, which is kind of sad. And they are going to eat into the chunk of camera sales. And they are going to be a huge competition to camera sales in the future when this is launched. A lot of people who already use a smartphone will just not going to use the camera anymore. They're just going to buy this modular system, and it's going to be good enough for a lot of things that they do. If you are a Micro Four Thirds user, you already know how good your Micro Four Thirds cameras are. And by mounting this on your smartphone, basically you have a Micro Four Thirds smartphone camera with you everywhere you go. So there's a pros and cons, right? I see the potential. I see how this will be the future. I see how more and more smartphone manufacturers will tap into this modular system, whether it's Samsung or whether it's maybe even iPhone in the future, a few years down the road. They may even have their own modular system, right? Something attached to the camera, smartphone to have better image quality, right? So let's face it. Computational photography for smartphones has hit its limit. A lot of people say, no, computational is the future. No. Whatever you can do with the software, whatever you can do with the noise reduction, sharpening, AI, whatever, it has hit its limit. The only way to move forward, the only way to progress for smartphones is to have better hardware. It's not software anymore. They are attacking hardware. You need larger sensor, you need better quality glass. And this is what Xiaomi is doing, and this is the future. You are looking at the future here. The future is Micro Four Thirds. Why Micro Four Thirds is feasible? Because it can make it small enough to be attached on a smartphone. Not full frame. Full frame will make this too large, right? Look at this full frame lens. This is like massive. This is not possible, right? So the only way to make this possible is Micro Four Thirds. Micro Four Thirds is the future. Smartphone is the future. There's no use denying it. There's no use fighting it. The only way is to be smart enough for the camera companies to come up with a solution to work closer together with the smartphone companies to secure the spot in the future. If they don't, they were just gonna reduce to nothing in existence in the future. That's kind of the sad reality, right? So anyway, again, a lot of speculation here, a lot of assumptions, but this product is real. It has already been the prototype is everywhere in the world now. A lot of videos have been made to talk about this product. You can check out all the other videos that's already published on YouTube, how this works. It seems like it's working really well. The lens, the camera, it produces excellent image quality. There are some sample images floating around already. I think this is the future. I think the future of camera, this is how it looks like. If you complain about the lack of grip and handling, you can just add on a grip. Why not? Just do something wooden, something extra attachment. There you have a grip and a shutter button that operates wirelessly. It's not impossible. A lot of things can be done. This is a modular concept. I think this is the future. And Xiaomi is making the future of a Micro Four Thirds product. What do you guys think? I'm gonna drink my coffee and I'll get to the chat. All right. As usual, I will respond to members chat first. Yeah, so for everyone else, please be a little bit more patient. Let's get to the chat. Tomato says, I like this concept. It is like Olympus Air and Sony QX series. I hope it does well. Yes, the concept is similar, but the difference is they are not making this an open concept. Like the Olympus Air, you can use on any smartphones. You can use on iPhone. You can use on any Android phones. And you can use any Olympus and Panasonic lenses. So it's open on both ends. It's open, it accepts all Micro Four Thirds lenses, and you can use it on any smartphones, right? But this Xiaomi is closed on both sides. You can only use it on certain Xiaomi phones. I think it's the flagship phone, the next flagship, or I don't know, whatever phone they're coming on. Not only that, you can't even change lens. It's a fixed lens, right? Maybe they will have a different modular system, but I don't think they'll allow for you to switch lenses or use any other Micro Four Thirds lenses, which is kind of sad. That's the difference between this and Olympus Air. Tomato says the other option is to put a phone into the mirrorless camera. Yeah, why not? Use your camera, start dialing and call, making calls, right? Or go to social media and check Instagram from your camera. That's also another solution. Skoda says, I own a Moto Z phone with the Hasselblad camera attachment. It was one of the worst cameras I've ever used. The Xiaomi system is like years ahead, of course. Xiaomi has definitely way more budget compared to Motorola, right? Then the Gitaman says, even if it's not 100% true megapixels, I hope it'll help push Olympus and Panasonic to compete, because people will just see 100 megapixels on paper and consumers will buy this over 16, 20, 25 megapixels Olympus and Panasonic. I know, right? Like, what the hell are they doing? And to say that there are no other Micro Four Thirds sensor out there, hey, look what is Xiaomi doing, right? Yeah. And if it's true they are going to have that 100 megapixels, they're going to be a serious player in the Micro Four Thirds landscape, right? Gregory says, SanDisk just started public trading at $50 per share. I wouldn't go for SanDisk though. They don't really have very good reputation. In fact, they were bought over by Western Digital, right? They were acquired by Western Digital. They were not doing well. So yeah. Prosty says, speaking of support, do you have any photo books for sale? Nope, I don't. Logistic wise, it's quite difficult. Like, I want to sell books, but then again, like, the book may cost, I don't know, $10 to print here in Malaysia, $10 US. By the time you reach your hand, it will become $100. It's just with all the channels that's selling, right? I'm looking at a few, no matter how, once it goes to these channels, they're going to hike up the price. They want to take a huge chunk of profit. I only take like maybe just 10% of the profit, and then you guys will have to pay 90% to whoever that is making the book. It's just ridiculous, and I don't think that's the way. It's easier if I were to sell the books in Malaysia. Let's say that I print it, so let's say the cost is $10 to print a book, right? I can sell it for $15, $20. I don't mind. If you're in Malaysia, I can just meet you in person and just pass it to you, and you can just pay $20. So that's like, instead of paying $100, you get what I mean? And I don't want to, I don't know, it feels like a scam, right? Anyway. Two Sicilians here in the chat. All right, that's pretty cool. All right. Prosley says, I think Xiaomi will find the camera world. It's not as easy as the smartphone world, but maybe they'll surprise us. I don't think they're targeting the camera world. I think they're smart. They're targeting people who want better photographs but don't want to carry an actual camera because they already have a phone. Think about it. They already have a phone. All they have to do is just do a small attachment, and they get the same quality as the camera anyway. So there is a huge potential to be explored here. Yumi says, the Xiaomi Micro Four Thirds concept is interesting. Not going to buy because it's a fixed lens and need to use a Xiaomi phone. Yeah, that's the limiting thing, right? Like, it's so restrictive. You need a Xiaomi phone and a certain model. It's not like you can buy a cheap Xiaomi phone and attach that, right? You need a certain model to be compatible with that modular attachment. Yeah. Zotan says, hi Robin, hello everyone, let's do this. Hey Zotan, very nice to see you. Yes, let's do this. Serafin says, if everything went to that phone camera setup, I would leave photography altogether. I despise using phone for any kind of fun photography. I think that's what a lot of people say in the beginning, right? Like, remember when phones have buttons? And people say, oh, if you remove all the buttons and everything is touchscreen, I'm not going to use the phone anymore. I'll just stay with my buttons. Well, look at what happens today. No more buttons, right? Everything is touchscreen. It's the same with when digital photography came, right? All the die-hard film shooters will say, nah, digital will never make it. I know, like, film will still be superior. There's no way digital is going to take over film. You know, film is like, has been around for hundreds of years. You know, like, digital is just going to take another 100 years to be as good as film. Look at what happened. In like 10 years or less, film photography is dead. Yes, film is dead, right? Look at what happens to Kodak. That's because of film. Look what happened to Nokia. And, you know, like, things happen, right? Progress happens. And if this is the future, if everyone responds to it positively, whether we like it or not, we just have to adapt, right? This is how it is. And to me, it doesn't really matter what medium we use, whether it's film, whether it's medium format, whether it's APS-C sensor, whether it's a compact camera, whether it's a full frame camera or Micro Four Thirds or smartphone. To me, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, the process of making photographs is still relevant. Whatever medium you shoot with, whether it's smartphone or an actual camera, I still want to take photographs. It doesn't matter how I get a photograph. The process of getting the photograph, the storytelling, the dramatic moment, the composition, the lighting, the idea that I'm expressing through my photographs, all those things are still valid, whether I'm shooting through my phone or through my camera. Yeah. Process says, it's interesting, but I can see a lot of potential issues once the phone starts becoming worn out. That's why they want you to buy a new phone, right? They are releasing new phones every year, like many times a year. They want you to buy phones, right? Yeah. Well, it's the same thing as the camera companies. They want you to buy more cameras, right? It's just that I think in terms of buying new phone or new camera, people are more willing to put their money to buy a new phone, right? Because the phone does everything. You can book your air tickets. You can set alarm clock. You can book an Uber ride. You can order food, right? You can buy cinema tickets. You can do calculations on your phone, right? You can look at Instagram, or you can do all kinds of, you can even find a date through your phone. So the phone is like a supercomputer that does everything. So people are more willing to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on this smartphone than an actual camera that only does one thing, take photographs, right? Yeah. And believe me, they are not really targeting photographers, they're targeting everyone. So that's where they will win. Gregory says, SanDisk was under Western Digital for many years. Western Digital spun off their solid-state storage products under SanDisk just last month. All right. Interesting development. Gary says, I have not heard anything about the Alice camera for a while. I think they are dead. Yeah. Tomato says, in that way, it is closer to Sony QX100 than the Air. Difference is Sony had digital cam style zoom lens instead of a fixed focal length. But the Xiaomi has a Micro Four Thirds 100 megapixels image sensor, which the QX100 doesn't have. It's a tiny image sensor, right? Yeah. Which, I mean, if you compare the QX100 versus any smartphones today will still take better photographs than the QX100. But if you compare any smartphones today versus the Olympus Air, I'll still argue that Olympus Air with the right glass can produce better image quality than any smartphones today. So because this is still, the Olympus Air is still a true Micro Four Thirds camera at the heart, at the core, right? Yeah. Okay, let's go to the non-members chat. Roger says, with 100 megapixels, storage needed to be so high, no? Smartphones, they can have 1 terabytes, 2 terabytes, right? No problem. Chris Raven says, when I do photography, I want to get away from my phone, not spend more time with my phone. We'll tell that to all the iPhone shooters out there, right? Yeah. We can't win, Serafin. We can say our preferences. We are the minority here. There are millions and millions and millions of people who are willing to throw money to get an iPhone or the next Xiaomi or Samsung phones, right? Prosty says, Xiaomi potentially has the funds to develop their own sensors, while Panasonic and OM can only buy from them. I don't think Xiaomi has the funds to develop sensors. I don't think so. Samsung, yes. iPhone, yes. Xiaomi, no. They are still pretty much a small company. Sunday says, hey Robin, hey Santix, how are you? Jeff says, how can this be scalable at affordable prices if each lens type has its own expensive sensor? We'll just have to wait and see what Xiaomi is doing. The product is almost finished. And I think if enough people buy it, they don't need that many people, but if just enough people buy it, it can be a threatening product for the Micro Four Thirds ecosystem. Yeah. Santik says, hope you're good. Any photography events coming up? I'm doing okay. I think there are not going to be any events, Santix. It's Puasa, and to be respectful to our Muslim brothers, it's best not to have any events. You get what I mean? Like if you're going to have like photo walks or workshops and people are like starving, I don't think that's very wise, right? It's just going to be like people are just going to complain, hey, these people making these events, they are not very considerate, right? Yeah. I'm excited to hear this news from Xiaomi. The lens and module is lens and sensor together. Yes, lens and 100 megapixels image sensor. Realme has made 1-inch sensor and able to mount Leica lenses on it. The 1-inch sensor is tiny, like it's useless. Sunday says the new Realme concept seems like Ultra 12 concept. Nah, this is different. Micro Four Thirds is Micro Four Thirds. That's the real game changer here. Yep, it's 100 megapixels. Yeah. I think because it's a fixed lens, it's not interchangeable, so they can make it more compact. But how good the lens is, I don't know. Someone will have to do the full review, but it's also not fair to do a review now, although the prototype is there. It's a prototype, it's not a finished product. So let's just wait for it to be officially launched, and then we have an actual product to play with, and we'll see whether the lens is any good or not. Yeah. Light Hunter D says, I think the Japan threw away their chance to appease the main financial powers. China is willing to innovate because they don't answer to the same people. Yes, it seems like China is making a lot more progress in terms of imaging. Like, case in point, look at this thing. I would have expected, this is the DJI Pocket 3. I would have expected Sony or Canon to come up with this, or Panasonic, the video people. It's such a tiny thing with 1-inch image sensor and an actual gimbal, 3-axis gimbal. It's so amazing. I've been using this more and more for my videos, and it's just so convenient, right? It's so tiny, and I can just chuck this. That's why it's called DJI Pocket, right? I can just chuck it in my pocket. I can't do this with my OM system cameras or Panasonic cameras, and this is a very good vlogging solution. Image quality out of this is amazing. It's better than any smartphones. Yes, it's better than any smartphone because it has an actual mechanical, real gimbal. So the stabilized footage is mind-blowing, right? And it has 1-inch image sensor, which gives you fantastic low-light footage. It's just for video, for vlogging, this is like the best option out there already, and it's a China company that made it, which is surprising, right? I would have thought like Sony would come up with something like this. No, not Sony, not any of the camera makers. You guys are talking to each other, no worries. Just making sure I don't miss your comment. Sunny says, but this is still a concept, not concept. There is a prototype, and you can look around all the YouTube videos. A lot of people have their hands on the actual prototype already. And they have actually shared real sample photographs taken with this, and they just show you how it works, and they show you how it operates. It's very smooth, no lag, everything is instant, operates like a real camera, and the images coming out from it is pretty amazing. It's not concept, it's prototype. There's a difference, right? Yeah. If someone can reverse engineer the 2 pogo pin on the sensor and lens module, that would be awesome. Who would have the funds or the time to do that, right? Prosty says they weren't public traded before. Kind of crazy. Yeah. Well, SanDisk went not bankrupt, but they were not doing well, right? That's why they were bought over by Western Digital. But now that it seems like they're being spun off, so I haven't been following the news ever since. Kelvin says, "Said Sony not the first to come up with this concept. They have phone and camera business." I know, right? Like, what the hell is Sony doing? Like, they have the money, they have the resources, they make image sensors. And they have so much amazing technologies, right, out there, like the autofocus technology, the video expertise. They obviously know how to make really good cameras, looking at the sales, their performance recently. It's just, I thought Sony would be the first to push this boundary, right? But no. Yeah, they explored with it a little bit, they flirted with the concept, the QX1, QX10, QX100, and then they just gave up and never looked back. So it says, seems like phone camera into camera phone. So what happens is that, like, well, this is not the phone, but imagine they will be selling the phone separately, right? The phone will have its own camera. So you can buy, like, I don't know, Xiaomi 16 separately. And then they will sell the attachment, the camera modular system, as an accessory, which you can mount with a ready magnetic attachment on the smartphone. You can just mount it on it. But I think that thing is going to be sold separately. Yeah. Andrew says, I think it's a little more than a gimmick. Blending a phone with a more capable lens and sensor is a great idea, but the practice so far has been poorly executed. Well, Andrew, if you really want to dissect the specifics, the poor execution comes down to a few things. One, unstable Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connection. And two, it was pretty slow. After you take a photograph, the transfer of the images are quite slow. That's the main concern. And the app is problematic, right? Because Olympus, when they wrote the software for the app, it was pretty bad. So bad app, poor connections between the device and the smartphone, and pretty much too slow, right? The operations, the image transfer, everything is too slow. Now, look at what Xiaomi did. The prototype itself, if you look at the prototype that is being demonstrated by a lot of people already, all these problems are solved. Connection is instant, right? They mount it with the magnetic pin. So the connection from the device to the smartphone is fail-proof. It's fast, right? So the operation, and Xiaomi being a smartphone company, they write really efficient apps. So the app that works with the camera on Xiaomi phones was blazing fast. Everything is instant, no lag whatsoever. The operation was smooth. You can look at all the other videos out there already. I'm not kidding. Everything is almost flawless at this point. So all the problems that was presented before, they have all been eradicated or at least mitigated to a point where this seems like a feasible product already. The only complaint of the Olympus Air was the connection problem. That's the only problem, right? What other problems were there, really? If this was really, really smooth and stable, the app works fine, you don't have disconnection from every now and then, if the transfer is fast, if it works really, really well, I'm sure it will fly. The only reason why it didn't take off is because of this connection stability issues, right? And with that magnetic pin, Xiaomi basically solves all these problems. Yeah. Sixter says, I doubt it's true 100 megapixels color sensor. If it were, diffraction effects would become visible at apertures. All this diffraction, all these problems are the problems from yesterday. Sensor design has become more and more advanced already. We used to say that, with more megapixels, we'll have less dynamic range and worse high ISO performance. That's not true. Look at what happens with all the newer cameras. The high megapixel cameras, they have better dynamic range, better high ISO performance, and all these diffraction problems will be a thing of yesterday. I'm not saying it doesn't exist anymore, but it will be controlled, or at least the problem is mitigated to a point where it's not a problem anymore. Yeah, we are clinging to the past, right? All our knowledge on sensor technology is what? At least 10 years old? Things have changed. The way they make the sensors, the way they arrange the micro lenses on the sensor, the way they optimize, the way that the technique to capture light and optimize it to be captured on the sensor, they have come a long way since what we knew years ago, right? So with this updated technology, updated how to make the sensor more efficient in collecting light, yeah, all these problems, including diffraction, I don't think it's a problem anymore. Sandy says, any sample images from this Xiaomi camera module? Plenty! Just look around, Santix, like, it's everywhere. Everyone is talking about it. Yeah, Sandy says, really? I've never had issues with SanDisk. What issues? I'm saying the SanDisk camera company is not doing well. I never said SanDisk had any issues. Yeah. Zodan says, I hope it will be released soon. Cool phone and content creators will like it. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see whether they'll do well or not. Andrew says, if you embed the sensor in the camera and allow a range of lenses to be connected, it needs to fit into an existing ecosystem, else it needs to find a totally new market. Xiaomi, I think, is confident enough that their own market is sufficient to support it. And they're tapping into the smartphone market, which is way larger than the camera market. If you're saying they are targeting just the camera market, yes, that's a very poor decision. But they are not. They are targeting the larger market, and the smartphone market is way bigger than the camera market, which is why I think this concept is going to work for Xiaomi. Andrew says, and we already have the Alice camera and the Yongnuo. Alice, really? Anyone using it? Let me just do a quick search. I don't think it was ever launched. Was it? No? The only content that I see is from Red35, Jimmy, from Emily from Microphone Nerds, which was a preview of the prototype, right? It wasn't even a finished product. I don't see anyone from any real people using the Alice camera to take actual photographs or video, right? There's no real world review from the camera. Yeah. Nothing. Let's see, when is it shipping? Alice camera shipping. I don't think it's ready yet. Is it ready? It's been what, 5 years already? It says shipping date was April 2025. Okay. Andrew, according to Google, the estimated shipping date was April 2025. So technically, Alice camera does not exist yet. So yeah. Torment T. Okay, I'm not going to even try to pronounce this. Glad to be back. Still wondering about OM3. Should just wait for a discount, right? Or make a rash hard purchase? Well, do what you want. I think if you want it now, just buy it, right? If you're happy with whatever you have now, I'm sure your cameras, whatever they're shooting with at the moment, is still fantastic. Then there's no reason for you to just jump to the next camera unless the OM3 has something that you need. For example, if you are shooting with EM1 Mark II and you're looking at OM1 or OM1 Mark II for the bird detection autofocus, the AI subject tracking, right? Which is a game changer if you're doing wildlife photography or if you're shooting birds. That will actually make a huge difference while you're shooting and help you to get more shots or keepers. So it makes sense for you to fork out the cash and upgrade to OM1 or OM1 Mark II. But other than that, like if I don't know what camera that you have now, so you gotta decide if you're gonna spend that money. Are you going to get something out of the OM3 or not, right? Yeah. I think the body is fine. The weight is fine. Yeah. You miss the buttons. You can miss the buttons all you want, but the buttons are not coming back. You see my point? We can say what we want. We can voice out our concerns, but as a minority, we can't win against the market trend, right? So if the market is going one direction, we just have to adapt. Like everyone's using the touchscreen. You can't say, I hate the touchscreen, I want buttons. Well, boo-hoo, no more buttons, right? Yeah. Something says, the Xiaomi Micro Four Thirds camera launched many years ago has no real successor, it seems, until now. That was an actual camera. So this is a different thing. This is a modular camera. So the the Yi1, right? Yi1 M1 or something, that was a completely different thing. This is a completely different thing. So I don't think there's any connection at all. Yeah. Life in Chengdu says, we have had many Xiaomi products over the years in China. The biggest problem, they only last a few years. That's what they want. They want you to continue to buy new products. If they make a product that can last for 10 years, how are they going to last in the market? How are they going to make money, right? They want you to continue buying new products so they can profit, right? That's the business strategy there. Andrew says, the issue with Xiaomi concept is that it's not really pocketable. Are you sure? Really? By the looks of it, like, let's see. I'm going to release the wrong pin here. There are two pins. It's smaller than this Olympus Air, right? Sensor and lens included. And you can detach it from the phone. It's not as thick as this. I can keep this phone in one pocket. I can keep this lens in another pocket. How is it not pocketable? Like, really? Compared to, say, an OM1 or OM3. Now, that's not really pocketable, right? Yeah. Kola says, if available, it will be an instant buy for me. Imagine going to an event with this smartphone and do a live video using an actual lens and bigger sensor. I know a lot of people will actually buy it. I can see how this can be a game changer. Right? It's just sad that Xiaomi is the one doing it, not OM System or Panasonic or even Sony, right? Justin says, hey Robin, I recently acquired an EM10 and an EM5, trying to decide which one to keep and which to sell. Thoughts? Okay, I made a video recently. Just 2 weeks ago, in fact. You should check out this video, Justin. Gonna bring out the link for you. Share. Copy. Okay. EM5 versus EM10. There you go. So Justin, if you have not seen this video, I suggest that you check it out. Both are fantastic cameras. Both have their own pros and cons. EM5 is an older camera, EM10 is a newer camera. EM10 has newer tech like silent shutter, live composite. EM5 doesn't have it, but EM5 has magnesium alloy body. EM5 has weather sealing, which the EM10 doesn't have. EM5 has 5-axis IS, EM10 has 3-axis IS. Both cameras produce very similar image quality, very similar autofocus. But yeah, if you want like silent shutter, live composite, newer technology, EM10 has it. EM5 doesn't have it, but EM5 is better built, it's weather sealed, so it's up to you. I can't tell you which is which, right? So please watch that video. All right, let's see. Okay, time check. It is 4 minutes past 11. I'm gonna read 2 or 3 more comments and then I'll share my photographs for this stream, right? This particular stream. Gary says, I'll be able to drop this Xiaomi smartphone camera at a critical moment, just like I can drop my iPhone. Okay. Why would you want to drop a camera or a phone? People like to choose their smartphone. I prefer an iPhone mini myself. Locking it in the smartphone, I do not want means I'm not interested. I agree the path ahead is possible. Okay. Not sure what people mean when they refer to diffraction limit, but we are orders of magnitude away from the diffraction limit of the image sensors themselves. I know, right? Like, yeah. Anyways, people are just too worried about these small things that don't really matter. Like, people are so worried about, oh, you shouldn't shoot past f8, f9. I'm like, I shoot my macro at f16. And I zoom it up and people say, wow, so sharp. Yeah, it's f16. And I was like, huh? No diffraction? When I'm shooting my photograph, the last thing that I'm thinking about is diffraction. I just want to get the depth of field, right? Like, anyway. Grace says, meaning there is a lot of room to jam more pixels on the sensor. Yes, fitting the back end electronics on the sensor becomes the challenge. Yeah. You carry GM1 a couple of lenses and pockets easily. I know, right? Yeah. Anyway, pocketable thing aside, let's go to photographs, because photographs are definitely more important than all this gear talk. Okay, I don't have any new photographs to share. Last weekend I had a job, so I was shooting for a client. It's a private client, so they request for privacy. So because it took all my time in the weekend, I don't have time to go out to do my usual shutter therapy sessions. So no new street photographs to share this week. And then Monday and Tuesday I was busy making videos for this channel, 2 full days. Wednesday I had a meeting, yesterday I had a meeting, and today I was out shooting with the Tamron lens, which is this. I don't have enough shots to share yet. So the shots from this lens I'll share next week. But I can share some old photographs. And these photographs were taken, which year? My goodness. I forgot already. Let me just check the year where the photographs was taken. It was during my review for the Olympus Pen EPL 10. All right. So it was... Where is the information when you need it? My goodness. No information. Great. It was 2021, which was 5 years ago. Fantastic. Okay, so here are the photographs. So that's EPL 10. It's not my camera. It was on loan from Olympus when Olympus was still around. Yes, this was when I was still an Olympus visionary, and I made a review, and the review was also published on this channel, so you can check out the review if you have not done so. So I'm just recycling all shots because I thought it's fun to look at photographs I've taken 5 years ago. And the thing about reviews is that I have to be very careful of the photographs that I've taken. Usually I don't crop. Even if I crop, it's just very minimal. So that's one. And secondly, the images are usually JPEGs, either JPEGs or very close to JPEGs. I'll just do minor adjustments. And when the camera was launched, obviously the RAW files are not compatible. The only way I can edit the RAW, if I shoot in RAW, is using Olympus Workspace, or now it's OM Workspace. And if you guys understand how Olympus and OM Workspace software works, it's basically using the same engine as the JPEG engine in your camera. So what I'm getting out of this software's editing, if I edit at all, it's actually almost straight out of a camera JPEG, right? So that's why these photographs will look a little bit different from my usual photographs that I'm showing more recently. So yeah, I don't know, back then when I'm doing reviews, I love going to cafes and order these expensive coffees and yeah, do all this like food shots with Legos and everything. That's Robin Lego, if you don't know. Robin. So yeah. And used to dine with some friends. I'll call up a few friends and we'll go to a cafe restaurant and we'll find a window seat for the best lighting possible. Window, sunlight. What can beat that, right? Yeah, some burger and fries. Yeah. And do some top-down shots, overhead shots. These were taken, mind you, all these photographs, this one, and this one were taken with the 1442 kit lens. Kit lens. Just kit lens. Look at how wonderful the images are. Sometimes you just don't have to worry about, oh, should I be using a pro lens? Should I be using a sharper lens? Should I be using a more expensive lens? The kit lens does the job. And the kit lenses for both the Olympus and Panasonic, man, they are super, super sharp. Trust me, the image quality out of these kit lenses, they are nothing short of being incredible. Yeah. This was taken with the 40 to 150R. f4 to 5.6R, right? It's a performance at KLPAC, Kuala Lumpur Performing Arts Center. At that time, they were not my clients yet. I had to pay my ticket and go in and shoot this show, right? And 40 to 150R and very high ISO, I remember. The lighting, it seems like it's bright, but it wasn't. I needed to use ISO 3200 and 6400 or even higher. I should drink water. It's already past 1 hour, more than 1 hour I'm talking. So let me drink some water before I continue. Okay. Going close, 40 to 150. This is ISO 6400. This is also ISO 6400. Stage play. This is ISO 12800, I remember. It was quite dark. This is definitely ISO 12800. Of course you can see noise if I pixel peep. I'm not going to do that. Even if you don't pixel peep, you already see noise, right? But yeah, currently KLPAC is still my client. I still do some work for them. They have no complaint on all this high ISO noise whatsoever. They just want the moments to be captured, right? This is also, no, this is ISO 3200. I think 3200. I roll it back. This is 12,800 again, right? I can't remember what ISO this was. Just gonna roll through the photographs. Capturing the moments. Capturing moments is important, right? So it's using the EPL 10. I was taking all these photographs to be used as samples for my review of the EPL 10. The last few shots of the stage performance. I don't remember much, but I remember this. It was quite a dramatic performance, and it was a very tragic story. Some people died, some people committed suicide, and it wasn't a very happy story. But it was a very fun, very, very fun stage performance to watch. And of course, the important thing about shooting stage or shooting events is that you want to capture moments, right? Whatever camera that you shoot with, then the good way to test is whether the autofocus can respond fast enough and whether the camera can respond fast enough to capture or nail these critical shots. Yeah. And EPL 10 was. And of course, after the stage shots, these are the stage shots, I went out to do some street photography. This particular shot, I was curious, or I was drawn to it because of the red, green, and yellow. Red, green, yellow, and blue. So there were 4 colors here. The motorcycle was blue in color. The guy was wearing red and green, and then there's the yellow thing in the background. So yeah. Some building shots. I was an engineer, so yeah. Speaking of being an engineer, so my friend asked me to watch Prison Break. So I've never watched Prison Break before, a fantastic show. And then when it came to the part where they tried to break, I don't know if you guys watched Prison Break, so if you haven't watched, I'm sorry, spoilers. But the show is 20 years old now. So it came to the part where they were trying to break the wall, and then Scofield was talking about Hooke's law of elasticity and everything. I was like, that's not how it works. My goodness. I wish I wasn't an engineer watching the show. Anyway, when the writers could have done a better job, or could have just consulted a an engineering professor, right? All these problems could have been solved. So anyway, buildings, because I appreciate structures, architecture, being an engineer myself, right? And colors, I love colors, right? Who doesn't love colors? Blue on yellow, yeah, that's what I do. And you'll realize that from all these shots that I'm showing, even the shots that are before on the stage, I did almost no edits, 0 edits. These are almost straight out of camera. I don't remember editing them at all. These are very, very, very minimal edits. And many people say, Robin, would you like to show us how you edit your photographs? Maybe you do like live editing or, you know, like post-processing tutorial. Like, guys, if I do an actual post-processing live editing, you guys will fall asleep because I almost do nothing. Like I may change the contrast a little bit. I may straighten the photograph a little bit, crop a little bit, and that's it. You'll be like, what? Really, Robin? That's all you're doing? Like, why do you even bother doing a post-processing tutorial? Because there's nothing to share, right? Yeah, all these are like very, very minimal. Oh, this photograph is very interesting because there's like a well on the bottom left corner, like a well. And then on the bottom right corner, there's the abandoned mannequins, right? And then there's like a family on the left there as well. So I thought like all these elements line up together, all the things fit into a frame. It was quite interesting. At least I thought it was interesting. A man, tailor on the streets doing his job. Yeah, I was shooting this from a distance. And of course, trying to layer the shots, the KLCC Twin Towers in the background, and then some buildings, village buildings in the front, right? And a tree, layers. Cats, I love cats. Who doesn't like cats? If you've seen a lot of my photographs, I've taken a lot of cats. This was the 45 f1.8, which is my favorite lens. Who doesn't like 45 f1.8? Yeah. Also the 45 f1.8. A kid riding on a bike. This is 2021, so we are still wearing masks at that time, right? And some compressed perspective shots of buildings. I love buildings. Again, I said I love lines, patterns, structures, all these concrete buildings. I used to make them. It was a past life, so every time I look at them, it reminds me of my past life, so I take photographs of them now instead of making them. So why not, right? Different life now. So that's all I have to share. I hope you guys enjoyed that short sharing of the old images I've taken for my EPL 10 review. The review is still published on the main channel, on my long form video. You can go there, you can find the review EPL 10. All these photographs were still there, unchanged. You can look at them. You can see what I did. This review was 5 years ago, so I don't want to look at the video now because I'll just cringe. I didn't really know what I was doing back then. So yeah. Okay, let me just drink more water, drink some coffee, and get back to the chat. Drink some coffee. Coffee is life. All right, let's get back to the chat. Okay. Jared says, just when I'm taking a photo of my life with smartphone, someone calls and ruins the moment. You can always enable the DND, right? If you don't want anyone to disturb you. Well, similarly, when you are taking photograph with your camera, if someone calls you, it's enough to distract you or disrupt your process, right? So if you really want the Zen moment, or if you want to be 100% immersed with your shooting process, just put the phone away. Or if you're shooting with your phone, just put it on DND mode, right? So you don't have that problem of being distracted. Gary says, I have the same problem with a smartphone as I had with DSLRs, in that I cannot see the screen in sunshine. That is why I switched to Micro Four Thirds with an electronic viewfinder. Okay. Which smartphone are you using though? Because smartphones these days are pretty much the viewing experience is pretty much very good in sunlight, direct sunlight, compared to the LCD screen on DSLRs, right? Or cameras. Come on. Camera screen this tiny compared to actual screen, smartphone screen. There's a big difference in terms of resolution, and there's like a boost in brightness to enable to see much better in brighter conditions. I have no problem using my smartphone under direct sun, and trust me, it gets really hot in Malaysia. Hey, Mati Sulanto. Mati is a friend. It's been a while since I last saw Marty in person. But it says, "Hi Robin, just use a real dedicated camera for real photography and shoot raw." Well, what's the definition of a real camera these days, right? Like last time, people will say, "Oh, film cameras are real cameras," right? Anything less is not, and they don't consider digital cameras as real cameras. And look at where we are, right? And when digital camera took over, right? They say, "Oh, DSLR is a real camera. Mirrorless cameras are toys." Look at where we are today. DSLRs are basically dead, right? The mirrorless cameras basically dominated the market, right? Everyone went mirrorless, Nikon, Sony, Canon. And then now smartphones are rising. And in fact, smartphone is the most used camera in the market, right? So what are we, or who are we to define what's real and what's not, right? It's kind of, the line is kind of blurred these days. Yeah. Okay. We don't have members chat, so I'll continue with non-members chat. Andrew says, "Yes, Robin, the OP3, I'm guessing the DJI Pocket 3, really has no business having as good an image as it does for the size." I would think that, Sony or Canon or Panasonic will be the first to come up with this, right? But no, it's a China company. So it shows that China is more willing to take risks. They are more willing to push the boundaries and try new things and explore all this weird tech, right? So yeah, who knows? Xiaomi might be the one on the next big thing on the Micro Four Thirds world. Bruce says, "Xiaomi knows how to make phone tech work. So when they make Olympus Air, there will be no connectivity issues. The experience in camera was limited. The Yi Micro Four Thirds camera was their sub-brand that failed. But then again, they don't need to know everything to make it work. They just need to use the Micro Four Thirds sensor. Anyone can use that, and put a lens that actually works. That's it. How complicated is it? You get what I mean? They have autofocus technology already. If they don't have it, they can buy from anyone else. They can buy from Sony. They have the money, right? They just need the optics, which they already have, right? They're partnering with Leica. Leica also partners with Panasonic. Panasonic is also with the Micro Four Thirds Consortium. So in terms of sourcing the parts and putting them together, they have the sensor, they have the lens. What else is there? In terms of software, I'm sure they have it already, right? Yeah. Sarfin says, "I'm praying it's a complete flop. This is not a good product for the photography community." Wishing ill on people or cursing other people is not a wise thing to do. And we have no control over that, right? If it's going to flop, it will flop. If it's going to be successful, it's going to be successful. We have no control over that. We just have to adapt. It's the same when film photographers were frowning on digital. They say, "Oh, there's no way digital is going to take over, right? We're going to shoot with film forever. Film is the way of life." Look at where film is now. Film is dead, right? Look at, phones with buttons. "Oh, there's no way I'm going to use touchscreen. I just need my physical buttons. I prefer to press physical buttons." Where's buttons? You wish that the touchscreen is dead, but hey, it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. Everyone is using touchscreen, right? So that's just how life is, right? Well, remember when a computer came along and people are using typewriters? No, I'm just going to use typewriter, or people are just going to use calculator, or it's just progress is going to happen whether we accept them or not. Sandy says, "If Xiaomi makes it a sensor module, then it can use other Micro Four Thirds existing lenses. But it doesn't seem like it's going to be able to change lens based on the prototype. But the way they do it, sensor and lens together, 35, like Ricoh GR3, street camera phone. Not really sure what the final product looks like, but seems like the prototype looks very, very final. If you know what I mean. I don't know if you can check out the other videos and make your own conclusions, right? Andrew says, "I accept that one of the past issues was connection and speed, but my issue is very about handling. Xiaomi is the size of camera, but without the benefits." You can just, okay, at the base of it, it's a smartphone that everyone has come to accept. Who rejects a smartphone? I don't think there's anyone, right? So at the base, it's a smartphone. Let's say that you want to turn it into a camera. Add on the camera module, add on the grip, attachment grip. They do sell grips though, Xiaomi. If you look at the Xiaomi 14, they have a camera module grip, right? You can attach a grip, attach the lens. Done. Or a sticker grip. You can buy a third-party sticker grip. Done. Or maybe a physical shutter that it can be controlled by Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. Why not, right? And the grid may even have it connected to the USB-C for instant shutter release with minimal lag, right? So a lot of possibilities there. Hugh says, David Flower uploaded a video yesterday of the 2004 practical camera with Tetris and Snake on it. That's a real future of cameras. I know, right? Yeah. Why don't our cameras have games built in so that when we are bored taking photographs, we can play Tetris on it, right? That would be so cool. Yeah. Yes. Dinner. Hey Andrew, how are you? Andrew says, looking forward to a future Xiaomi camera that makes coffee for me. I'm sure they can make it though, if they really want to. Like, Xiaomi makes everything, right? They have a vacuum cleaner, they have television, they have refrigerator, they have what? They have everything. Whatever you want to think of, they have it, right? So to have a coffee machine that can take photograph, why not? Andrew, looking forward to seeing you next week. Andrew is a friend here. He's a fantastic photographer, one of the best wedding photographers in Malaysia. They actually know in person. And we are catching up next week. So can't wait for that catch-up session. Something says, maybe I have not yet delved more into the new Xiaomi prototype yet. Yeah, just check it out. It's content is everywhere now. Gary says, someday we will look back at quaint touchscreens. I know, right? Touchscreen could be the day in the past. Maybe we just use our brain to wirelessly control the smartphone. I don't know. Maybe it's a way to read our minds and we don't have to do anything to touch anything anymore. That'll be the future, right? Daniel says, will the lenses be good enough to resolve 100 megapixels? That's challenging to accomplish. Challenging. I think currently, the current Micro Four Thirds lenses, from my understanding and experience working for Olympus, whatever we have now is good enough to resolve up to 50, not 100. There's a reason why when you do the high-res shot, whether it's handheld high-res shot or whether it's the tripod high-res shot, once it's composited, the JPEG file that is outputted is 50 megapixels. The limit is not the high-res shots technology, right? The pixel is real. So in RAW, you get real 80 megapixels, but the true resolution, it looks closer to 50, and the restriction comes from the optical limits on the lenses that's made for Micro Four Thirds. I believe the lenses can resolve maybe slightly more than 50 megapixels. 50 is like the bare minimum. It can resolve more than 50 megapixels, but 50 is a very safe limit. But yeah, that's just my understanding or my knowledge on how Micro Four Thirds lenses work. Yeah. Prosty says, could this be a way for phone people to become interested in traditional cameras? Maybe. Sunny says, this is a newish short distance wireless standard called SparkLink. Low power, but many times about 6 times speed of Bluetooth, low latency. Yeah, but then again, I don't think OM System or Sony, they're interested in exploring this anymore. It'll take a China company like DJI or Xiaomi or someone else to make it work, right? Andrew says, the fact that Alice camera isn't on general release kind of emphasizes my point. No. I think Alice camera has its own issues. Like, it's a Kickstarter project. And to compare Alice camera to Xiaomi, it's not fair, Andrew. It's not fair. Xiaomi is a legit company. When they say they're going to make something, that something is going to happen. They say this is a prototype. They have the physical prototype ready for people to try, and people are making videos everywhere in the world, and they say we're going to release this soon. When Xiaomi says it, it will happen. That's the difference between Xiaomi and Alice. Xiaomi makes things happen. They have released many products already. Whether you like the products or not, that's a different matter, right? When they say it's going to happen, it will happen. So yeah. Sadi says, hopefully some China manufacturers will use this sparkling as connection for a Micro Four Thirds sensor module. I don't know. I think magnetic pin is not a bad idea. Don't you think? My only complaint is that they are limiting it to within the closed Xiaomi ecosystem. Like, the magnetic thing could have been an open module for everyone to use, right? It can be an open concept, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll just see. Bruce says, actually, with Xiaomi's current market cap, they could have bought OM System. Then, just like DJI owning Hasselblad, it will be really push the boundaries in mobile computing and camera integration. But then again, like, looking at the performance of Micro Four Thirds, it will be also a suicide move or a very poor business strategy to acquire Olympus or OM System. They're not making money in the past 3 years. Why would I want to buy a company that's in the reds? You get what I mean? And this is not a secret, right? Everyone knows this. If I'm a healthy company, I want to make profit. Why would I invest in a company that's not making money? It makes no sense, right? Ho says, photography kit will probably fix the stubborn situation, the button situation. Yeah, true, that's true. Jeff says, Robin, do you think an OM1 Mark III will have to feature a stack sensor going forward? I'm waiting for a larger megapixel sensor. OM1, do you think I'll be waiting forever? I don't know. I don't know what OM System is doing. If they are recycling the same 20 megapixel image sensor, it will be suicide. They should not be using the same image sensor. That's why Olympus died in the first place, right? They're recycling the same image sensor in EM1 Mark II, in EM1X, and then EM1 Mark III. That's it. Everything just went downhill from there. They can recycle sensors in the lower level cameras like EM5 Mark III, OM5, that's fine, or OM3, right? But they should not recycle sensors in the flagship level cameras. Yeah. Dave says, hi Robin, so when the manufacturer is doing something stupid in the photo market, it just means that the photo isn't his only market? I don't understand the statement. When the manufacturer is doing something stupid in the photo market, it means that the photo isn't his only market. Who is doing anything stupid? I don't see anyone doing anything stupid at this point. Yeah. Sally says, it is not physically connected to the phone, right? Remember, it's magnetic based on the 2 pogo pin. Physically connected. And then the pin is magnetic. No, the magnetic is the connection, and then the pin is electronic, right? So yeah, it's physically connected. Sally says, Xiaomi Imagery Bus event will be. Okay. Yeah, so there you go. There's some local events to look forward to. Yeah. I'm not even sure if they're bringing the prototype to Malaysia. Hey. So there's the Xiaomi's official launch for the 15 series is this coming Thursday. Next week, Thursday. I'm not attending because I figure out this live stream is more important. You guys are more important than Xiaomi. I wasn't invited anyway, but I have friends going. So I'll let my friends go and let me know whether they have the prototype there or not, the camera module system. Let me drink some coffee. And some water. We have 100 people watching, which is amazing. 100 people watching. Okay. Sixter says, if I'm reading petapixel correctly, Xiaomi uses 4:1 pixel binning, making a 25 megapixel. So it's similar to the Panasonic's sensor, I guess, the one that's used in the GH7 or G9 Mark II, right? 25 megapixels. So it says, Robin, if you're going to a trip overseas, what would you bring? If it's a job, I guess depends, right? Overseas, I have shoots in overseas. For example, I went to Medan, I was shooting a wedding, right? Or I went to Australia before, I was shooting weddings there as well. Then, of course, EM1 Mark II, and all my kits, all the lenses I use for my jobs, right? 9 f1.7, 25 f1.8, 45 f1.8, 75 f1.8. Yeah, things that I normally use. But if it's just for holiday, no jobs, not doing any shoots for clients, maybe GM1 or EPL7, I don't know, kit lens and a 25 f1.8, or kit lens and a 45 1.8. That's it. Tiny, easy to carry around, no fuss, right? But if it's a job, I'll carry everything. Yeah, and with backups, right? Not just EM1 Mark II, will be OM1 as well, 1240, 2 flashes, multiple batteries, huge bag. I mean, it's a job, right? I need to deliver to my clients. I can't leave anything behind. You get what I mean? It is what it is, right? So yeah, 6 to 7 days a week. Yeah. Brent Van says, I'm sure if flexing the Chinese equivalent of a Korean chaebol, what is a chaebol? It's a good thing to be enthusiastic about. I'm just happy that someone else is using Micro Four Thirds because Panasonic and OM System, they are not doing enough. So if it takes Xiaomi to open the eyes of the big camera players to see, hey, this is the future and we are doing something about it, I'm happy for Xiaomi. It's about time someone takes Micro Four Thirds seriously. If OM System is not going to do it, if Panasonic is not going to do it, if Xiaomi is doing it, good for you. Yeah. Okay. Go to the members chat first. Gregory says, okay, so the diffraction limit of lenses puts a cap on the resolution of the sensor. I get it now. Not really. Not really. Rippy says, Robin, my daughter's camera actually has games on it. I think you have seen it used on a photo walk once. Yes. I haven't seen any output from that street outing that we had, right? And Rippy, happy fasting to you. I hope you've had a good Ramadan start. We should catch up. Maybe, I don't know if we are going to do any Ramadan Bazaar shooting. If there's any outing, do drop a message in a group. Or yeah, or maybe we'll just catch up after Raya, right? After Hari Raya, then we'll do a proper street outing. Looking forward to that. Gregor says, my Kenwood ham radio had games on it. Apparently for Japanese love games on their devices. Bear Hawks says, the prototype has 35 f1.4. Is it full frame equivalent 35? Interesting. So it's a 17. Okay. Paired with a 100 megapixel Micro Four Thirds sensor, it's a good start. Maybe 100 megapixels can also be a quad bin, 25 megapixel, which could be better. Yeah. Andreas says, there are too many surfaces on a smartphone that you must not touch if you want to take a photo. Not really. Not really. So if they can come up with a grip, which I'm sure they can, or you can buy a third-party grip, what are you touching? Let's say, imagine there's a grip here, right? And then there's a lens. What are you touching? I'm not touching anything. There's a shutter button here. So you use your finger to point the focusing point, right? So, you know, all these problems are minor issues. But the big thing here is Xiaomi is entering the world of Micro Four Thirds. The big thing here is there is an actual camera with a Micro Four Thirds image sensor and lens that's being explored, and it's being integrated into a smartphone, which I think is groundbreaking. I think it's a big thing, and I welcome it to happen. And I hope this will make Micro Four Thirds community wake up, like OM System and Panasonic. What the hell are you guys doing, right? Yeah. Anya says, I'm not a big fan of the 45 f1.8. Why are we talking about 45 f1.8 again? Tonight's topic is about Xiaomi, right? Anyway, probably because my copy, which I bought used, is not working properly. I also bought f1.2 version, is amazing, but of course much bigger. Just because your 45 f1.8 is not working properly and then you're complaining about the lens, that also doesn't make sense, right? Because if you ask me, 45 f1.8 is the lens that made me the most money over the years. Every time I show my clients the photographs I take with the 45 f1.8, whether it's stage photographs or portraits or food photographs or product photographs, everyone will go like, wow. And you can see like they can't believe that tiny lens can produce such excellent results. It is my bread and butter lens. It is my money maker. I can give out a lot of things, but I will not give out the 45 f1.8. So, and just because your lens has problem and you're saying that you don't like the lens? Really? Like, that's a very poor way to associate what you like and don't like, right? So anyway, Berhard says the Pogo pins they call laser link can transfer data up to 10 gigabytes per second, which is crazy fast. Yeah, of course. Hang says, Robin, sorry for the off-topic question. I'm considering Olympus EM5 or APL8 for street photography. EM5 has better specs but bigger and heavier. My aim is to buy GR3. Okay. To buy GR3 or to replace your GR3? If you want the GR3, then get a GR3, right? Because EM5 and APL8, they are not GR3. EM5, do I have something similar? APL7, APL... Okay, let me find. Do I have something similar? Let me search. Yes, I have. Okay. This is not exactly EM5 or EPL8. It's EM10 versus EPL7. All right. So, similar anyway. EM10 versus EPL series. If you haven't seen this video, check this out. There you go. Hope this helps. Sunny says there's no image stabilization on Xiaomi prototype, right? They didn't mention, but it's still a prototype. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Sunny says, hey, there's optical image stabilization, or hey, there's 5-axis image stabilization. Who knows? Anything can happen these days, right? Yeah. Watch says, I'm waiting for the 45 f/8 to arrive. Wow. I got a brand new one from Amazon for just $179 USD. I hope my copy is good. If it's not good, you bought a new one, right? Just send it for warranty or to get replaced. So it's easy, right? All right, we have caught up with a comment. All right, which is amazing. And time check is almost 11:40, 20 minutes to midnight. I'll drink more water, drink some coffee. Okay, and let's see how many of you are here. We have 97 people watching. Drink some coffee. Let me scroll back up just in case if I missed any chats. No, I have not. Okay. Life has been busy lately for me. So I was rushing a sponsored video, which will be published next week. I've talked about that already. So can't wait to share with you guys. We will be seeing the sponsored video next week. And we'll discuss a bit more on Thursday. And I'm testing this, for those of you who just joined, I've got this lens on loan from Futuromic. Futuromic is the official distributor for Nikon in Malaysia, as well as Tamron and Samyang and SanDisk. So this is the latest Tamron 90 f 2.8 macro. It's a macro lens, so I've been shooting macro today. Got some really cool shots. Can't wait to share with you guys. I'll be shooting macro again tomorrow with this lens. Bring it out probably to a hiking trail tomorrow. So yeah. Okay. Azrul says, not sure why my early messages wasn't tagged to be read. Okay. Let's see your earlier messages. If I miss anything from Azrul. Or I've read your messages and you missed it, Azrul. I've read every single message that you have. So there was one message you said, what have you bought at Pasar Ramadan? I've replied to that. All right. Let's see what any other messages from you. Any other message? And then you also said, a group friend stopped using micro photo in 2023 and using iPhone extensively for landscape and interior photography. Clients still pays for his iPhone photos. Computational photography seems to satisfy. And then I also talk about computational photography is a limit, right? Because you can't push anything more. The only way to get better is to have better hardware. So a bigger sensor and better glass. Yeah, I've also replied to this. Right. Anything else from Azrul? Yep, no more. And then this is your latest message. So yeah, Rippy says the two pogo pins are just the power supply. In between the two pins is the Xiaomi's proprietary laser link, which is the ultra fast 10 gigabytes optical data transfer. All right. So yeah, there you go. They've solved the problem of the connection issue, right? Between the camera and the smart device, or smartphone and the camera, which was the biggest problem with the Olympus Air. Olympus Air had the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, which was not stable. It keeps dropping in and out, and then and sometimes it lags. It's not smooth, right? Connection has a lot of problem, and the transfer of the photograph to the smartphone is also quite slow. So it seems like whatever they are doing with the pins and the laser link or whatever, so it's optical data transfer, I guess. It's not exactly wireless, it's optical. So yeah, that solves, it's laser, I guess, laser link. That solves the problem altogether. So yeah, Yumi says the Xiaomi module can be used in places where the banned digital cameras sneak into places. Yeah, I know, right? True. No worries. Yeah. Yeah, I think coming back to the computational thing, right? Like, what else can you do with computational photography? Whatever that can be done with software has been maxed out. Like, you can't, in the past 4 or 5 years, yes, there was a time when suddenly smartphone cameras, because of the software processing, the images become so good, right? We have clean night photographs as long as you don't zoom in, or the HDR photographs are so good, or all this AI processing, right? But it has stagnated as well. Like, there's not much progress when it comes to computational photography when it comes to smartphones. In fact, it's gotten worse. Like, the processing has gotten too far. Like, the color of the skin has become unnatural, and there's so much noise reduction that it's looking so mushy, and then like the details are being smeared, and I wish that they don't process it so much, right? It has taken a few steps backwards. I feel that there's nothing much they can do with software processing, and in fact, the only way to get better or achieve higher quality images, and people are starting to get aware of what cameras can do, hardware, like better sensor, bigger sensor. That's why they're trying to push to 1 inch, which a lot of flagship level cameras do, and they're so expensive, right? Those 1 inch smartphone cameras are costing 5,000, 6,000 ringgit, or more than 1,000 US dollars, right? Or 1,500 US dollars. And and better lens, right? So that's why Xiaomi is actually looking into exploring this micro four thirds camera module, which is fantastic. Yeah. All right. If we don't have any more comments, I will actually stop the chat here. It's 15 minutes to midnight. We'll cut this one short, so that next week we can go longer. I'm sure I have more things to share next week. It's been a fun topic to talk about, and it's exciting to see that Micro Four Thirds world is expanding, although it's not really because of OM System or Panasonic. In fact, OM System and Panasonic are doing a very poor job in giving us excitement or coming up with new tech or pushing imaging boundaries, right? There's not much innovation and tech coming from OM System and Panasonic, but it's nice to see that Xiaomi is doing something. I'm not entirely sure what they're doing will be the future, or what they're doing will save Micro Four Thirds, or give us the more options in the future. Seems like it's a closed system, but it's still exciting nonetheless. It's Micro Four Thirds, and I hope it's successful. I hope that this will wake OM System and Panasonic up and see, hey, if you're not doing something, someone else is going to eat your pie. It's not like the Micro Four Thirds pie is that big, right? So yeah, and it's also like, it's nice to see that Xiaomi is pushing the boundaries of what they can do with smartphone photography. I'm sure the future is still volatile. It's hard to see where this is going, but it's exciting times ahead. All right, I hope you guys have enjoyed the session. I hope you guys have enjoyed looking at the photographs that I've shared, the sample photographs for the EPL10 review that I've taken 5 years ago. If you want to check out the full review, it's still published on the long form video, right? And yeah, until the next live stream, please go out and take more photographs. Bye-bye.